Oh my goodness, 7th and 10th. It's only a couple slides here, don't worry. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods. See Judas there with his bag of money. He was a thief and a robber. Stealing doesn't pay. So let's see. 2nd tablet. It's about love of neighbor. 5th covers his person. Can't kill him. 6th and 9th, the loved one in marriage. And the 7th and 10th, his goods. And the 8th, his reputation. Okay, so stolen goods, number 7th. Stolen goods never satisfy, but rather leave one bitter and sad. Goods earned by honest labor bring comfort and joy. We are often proud of the goods we worked hard for, but what about those that are stolen? Are you proud of these things? The treasures of wickedness shall profit nothing. There's a prophecy for our time which says that in nearly every house there'll be something that is stolen. Amazing. 7th commandment forbids deliberate retention of goods lent or of objects lost. So we can't retain, goods that don't belong to us. Business fraud, paying unjust wages, forcing up prices by taking advantage of the ignorance or the hardship of another. Got a terrible situation going on and there's no water. I got some water. I'll charge you $10 a gallon because you're in desperate need and I need the money. And that's wrong. That would be a sin against the 7th commandment. You should make them pay for the amount of water as proportioned to the water it costs you. Appropriation and use of private purposes of the common goods for an enterprise. In other words, you're taking from work. Work poorly done, tax evasion, forgery of checks, etc., and invoices, excessive expenses and waste, willfully damaging private or public property is contrary to the moral law and requires reparation and restitution. Making restitution. Stolen goods or damaged property requires restitution. So if the person is to receive absolution, they got to restitute what they've taken. Think about it. Most other sins can be taken away rather quickly in confession, but this one requires making restitution, which can be hard to do at times. Leaving one to wonder, did I really do it? I'm not sure. Zacchaeus had to make a 4-fold restitution to make sure, to make up for his sin, because you're never quite sure. So the gravity of the restitution depends on the gravity of the sin. So if you've gravely damaged something, then it would be a grave sin not to restore it. When it comes to restitution, we can do it secretly. And if the person or company is no longer available, if the person is dead, we can seek the family. We can find a good charitable source to donate the proper amount or have masses offered. In general, if the amount stolen or destroyed reaches a man's daily wage or touches on his life, then it's mortal. See, whenever it touches on his life, you're reaching the level of mortal sin. So compare. I steal $5 from the beggar on the street. That's a mortal sin. But if I steal $5 from my fellow worker, it's not a mortal sin. It's venial. Don't steal $5 just because it's a venial sin. But the point is that there's a difference depending on who you're taking it from, okay? So once again, it's basically a man's daily wage touches upon his life, then it's mortal. Now, if I stole in small amounts from someone, the sin will be mortal when all these together form the grave amount, the man's daily wage. So just because you stole $5 today and $5 tomorrow and $5 next day doesn't mean they're all venial sins. When they finally get to the man's daily wage, you've committed a mortal sin. Or if you intended at the beginning to steal that much, then it's a mortal sin to begin with. Importance of making restitution. This is a very interesting story. I thought you'd like to hear it. In the lives of the Desert Fathers, we hear of a story where a child had been bitten by a dog and got rabies. The poor child went mad and had to be chained. They brought him to St. Ammon, he's a desert father, to be cured. And he said to them, "You're asking me to do something that is beyond my power. Your child's cure depends more upon you than me. All you need to do is return the ox to the widow you took it from, and the grace you desire will be granted to you at once." They were amazed to see the saint had learned that by supernatural lights of the theft they had committed secretly. Nonetheless, they were happy to learn that by returning the ox, they would obtain what they so ardently desired. They returned the stolen ox without delay, and St. Amnon prayed for them, and their son was healed. How many graces have we lost because we're not restoring what has been stolen? Gambling. We got a big gambling casino. I thought I better put this in there. Gambling breeds superstition. It's bad. Sacrilege for people to make a sign of the cross over a slot machine. People do that. I've heard of this happening many times. The sign of the cross is for casting out demons and blessing items. It's not for getting money. That's a sacrilege. Gambling spawns greed and pride in man's heart. This leads them to challenge the laws of chance and nature. They stick their tongues out. That's from Dostoevsky, great Russian novelist. They stick their tongues at these laws as if they were above them, that they will overcome them, that they can win big. This is a temptation. You know, because they think, well, I'm special. I'm going to win big tonight. Yeah, okay. The gambling casino is not coated in gold for a reason. You know, and all these fancy lights and big buildings and carpets and everything. It's like, these people are making money. You know, you're not. You may win sometimes, but you're not going to win. You will not win overall. Gambling is compulsive. Gamblers often rationalize that they can win it back, but end up depriving others of what is their due. Gamblers are often in debt. Causes other vices to arise. They become impatient and frustrated. They become duplicit. They lie to get more money. They can lead to wanting relatives to die prematurely so they can have their inheritance to pay other gambling debts. It can also lead to suicide. A lot of suicides associated with gambling in big casinos. It can lead to fantasizing, thinking about how much good can be done with the winnings. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Bears bad fruit. Once a gambler has won, it's easy come, easy go, right? Which means the money is usually spent frivolously. Studies have shown that those who win lotteries very rarely become happy and stable, but rather more troubled. Even if they've given large amounts to charity, they still become enmeshed in worldly living that is beyond what they are accustomed. As a result, they easily lose their peace of soul, and one could argue they probably lose their soul. Money cannot buy love. Money cannot buy grace from God. Money is of this world and only brings more of the same, which is darkness. Clearly, gambling is not fulfilling, but rather an empty endeavor. St. Paul, the desire of money is the root of all evils, which some coveting have erred from the faith and have entangled themselves in many sorrows. Man is most fulfilled when supporting himself from his own honest labors. I made this with my hands. I worked all my life for this. I'm proud of doing this.